tomorrow, Thursday, to continue negotiations with the expectation of reaching an agreement regarding new wages for workers. The development comes after a recent breakdown in talks and conflicting proposals from both parties. It will record how organized labor gave the federal government an ultimatum of 31st May 2024 to come up with an acceptable wage figure that reflects current economic realities, while the federal government has shifted ground from the earlier offer of 48,000 naira to 57,000 naira. The Labour Union also reduced the benchmark figure to 497,000 from the previous position of 615,000 naira as the best monthly wage for public workers. Labour laments the unwillingness of both private employers and the government to negotiate a fair national minimum wage for workers in Nigeria, citing discrepancies in the presented figures. They further stated that the lack of substantiated data from the government to support their offer has only worsened the situation. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sworn in 8 new federal permanent secretaries to address current and anticipated vacancies in various state and geopolitical zones within the senior administrative cadres of the civil service of the Federation. President Tinubu, who administered the oath of office to the permanent secretaries before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting, said the officials emerged after stages of the selection process by the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, including a written ICT test. The appointees are Dr. Emanso Ogumbokop of Akwa Ibom State, Obiemeka Vitalis of Anambra State, Fatima Mohammed of Bauchi State, and Danjuma Mohammed Sanusi of Jigawa State. Others are Olusonya Olubumi of Ondo, Keshinro Mariam Ismaila of Zamfara State, Akujobi Chinyere Ijoma Southeast, and Isopu Christopher of South-South. The Nigerian Senate mourned on Wednesday the passing of Honorable Olaide Odewale Akinremi, a member of the House of Representatives, the All Progressive Congress lawmaker who presented Ibadan North Federal Constituency of Oyo State, died in the early hours of Wednesday after a brief illness. He was 52 years old. Correspondent Kuluju report that prior to the suspension of legislative activities, Senate leader Senator Pemi Bamidele informed his colleagues that the Senate had received communication from the House of Representatives notifying them of Honorable Akinyemi's passing. After observing 1 minute of silence in honor of the dead, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, adjourned plenary to Thursday, July 11, 2024.
With sadness in my voice, I'd like to announce notification of the demise of a member of the House of Representatives. Right Honorable Olaide Akinremi Jagaban, member representing Ibadan North Federal Constituency of Oyo State in the House of Representatives. Honorable Akinremi's sudden demise occurred at the early hours of today, Wednesday, 10th July 2024, after a very brief illness. On behalf of the Senate, we condole with the family, the Speaker, and members of the House of Representatives. Has been moved and seconded that in line with our existing tradition, the proceedings of the Senate for today be adjourned to honor the dead. Those in support of this adjournment say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Accordingly, the Senate is hereby adjourned to Thursday, the 11th day of July, 2024.
The House of Representatives Joint Committee on the arbitrary increase in cement prices has issued an ultimatum to Dangote Cement Management, threatening arrest if they fail to appear at their next hearing. The committee expressed concern over the high cement prices and the impact on Nigerians, directing the Cement Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and the Central Bank of Nigeria to appear before the committee within 2 weeks. Correspondent Nabuchi Nabuchi sent in this report. Committee Chairman Honorable Gaza Jonathan frowned at the nonchalant attitude of the Dangote Group, which had avoided the committee's summons over the sporadic increase on cement prices. He warned Dangote Cement that failure to comply with recent summon may result in a subpoena and arrest warrant, emphasizing that no individual or company is above the National Assembly. The House Committee on Federal Character also expressed displeasure with non-appearance of the Executive Secretary of TETFON, Architect Sonny Enchono, and other agency heads before the committee to answer questions about their activities. Committee Chairman Honorable Idris Wase berated Enchono for ignoring multiple invitations and warned that the committee would no longer tolerate such disregard. He emphasized that all government agencies must be accountable and transparent to the Nigerian people and threatened to invoke the committee's constitutional powers to sanction non-complaint agencies while criticizing the Industrial Training Fund.
And wants to over-profit without any sense of empathy for the citizens that have given it this platform. I think it calls for a rethink of the position of the government. Your colleague has just left here and they are ready to appear. Are they not cement manufacturers? A date we're going to give to them. Dangote, my ruling is simple. The law has given us the necessary powers. But just as I said, we owe you a duty of care.
You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News, and coming up next. The federal government reiterates commitment to creating more opportunities to improve the welfare of the civil service. Details of these and all will come to you shortly. Please stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTVNews. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share a story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 018-666-6669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. The newly sworn-in judges of the Appeal Court and Federal High Court have been advised to uphold the ethics of the profession at all times for peace and unity in Nigeria. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, gave the admonition during the inauguration of the judges at the Supreme Court. Correspondent Kunle Ojo completes the story.
There are twin events which, according to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, was unprecedented in the annals of the judiciary in Nigeria, took place at the Supreme Court. In the first event, 22 judges of the Federal High Court, including the wife of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, were inaugurated by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, with notable Nigerians in attendance. For the second event, 12 judges of the Federal Capital Territory High Court were equally inaugurated by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola. Justice Ariwoola charged the judges to see their appointments as opportunities to contribute their quota to the cause of justice in the country through quick dispensation of justice.
Though judicial officers are not known to possess some supernatural powers or magic wands to perform wonders, but I can assure you that the society you operate will certainly demand the impossible from you as judges. There is nothing we have not seen or heard before now, but your lordship should be ready to see and hear more strange things in the course of your adjudication. Even though I rejoice with your lordships on this very important appointment, I still sympathize with you for the many troubles, discomfort, and verbal assaults and uncomplimentary remarks that will be made about you by various litigants in the course of your adjudication.
Justice Olukayode Ariwoola equally admonished the new judges to be upright in their justice delivery to Nigerians without fear or favor. He maintained that the number of judges sworn in was quite unprecedented in the recent history of the Court of Appeal, adding that the last time judiciary witnessed such was on Monday, 28 June 2021.
You must shun unmerited wealth, dishonest disposition, and ostentatious lifestyle born out of corrupt acquaintances. The National Judicial Council will never rest on his words in fishing out the bad eggs within the judiciary and consigning them to odium. You can only run, but certainly won't have the capacity to hide from the long arm of our disciplinary apparatus. Your lordships should never engage in any act that may make you regret ever being a judicial officer.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria added that the ceremony was an indication of the perilous time in the country, which has resulted in an upsurge in litigation, noting that several unfathomable crimes are being committed in the country, aside from the usual political matters that have made litigation to go on alarming rise. From the Supreme Court, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
In continuation of the prosecution of former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, at Ikeja High Court, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has standard a statement of a Zenith Bank account allegedly being operated by the wife of former governor of the Central Bank, Margaret Emefiele. The statement of account showed constant credit inflows from Central Bank of Nigeria to these various accounts almost on a daily basis, amounting to several millions of naira. Confirming the inflow of credit into the account, a staff of the Zenith Bank who came as a witness, Ifeoma Agbonaya, said most times she used to receive directory from Godwin Emefiele's wife based on the runnings of the account. When cross-examined, PWs said Emefiele used to communicate with her through both local and international telephone numbers and sometimes through WhatsApp messages. EFCC confirmed having hard copy of WhatsApp interaction between PWS and Emefiele, which will be made available for Defense Counsel before the next trial sitting. However, the case was adjourned till October 28th, 30th and 31st. Justice A. Bello of the Kaduna State High Court has convicted and sentenced the trio of Sa'adu Salusi, Amuri Observe and Daniel Jaffet to various jail terms for internet fraud. The convicts were prosecuted by the Kaduna Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on one count separate charges, while Observe Bay and Jaffet charges bordered on impersonation and cheating. That of Salusi bordered on obtaining by false pretense and cheating. Salisu was charged for cheating, dishonesty, and induced one Adamu Bakuri to part with a sum of 300,000 naira with a promise to secure a job for him, while Umuri Usove was charged for cheating unsuspecting victims. The total sum of 87,000 naira each of the three defendants pleaded guilty to the charges when they were read to them, prompting prosecution counsel M. Uromemi and M. Lawal to pray the court to convict and sentence them accordingly. The increase in records of rights violation as released by the National Human Rights Commission (NHRC) raises concern about the safety of Nigerians despite being guarded by democracy. In this report, Galaxy's Irebami Salako seeks to find answers and solutions to these menace. The report.
On July 8, 2024, NHRC revealed the reported human rights violation in Nigeria exceeded 106,000. But according to human rights lawyer, this might not be an adequate representation of the cases, as many often go unreported.
The statistics given cannot be accurate, must be largely and hugely underreported. That's a fact. Maybe we should just say that why do you have so much vast instances of abuses?
And when they see some of these things, they say, no, we're not going to go that route. They try to take laws into their hands. These are also part of the things we are seeing, coupled with, like I said earlier, the economic issue. A lot of people are going through a lot of stress. A lot of people don't also want to take issues to these organs, the police. There is no much faith anymore in the police.
In a democratic nation like Nigeria, which empowers liberty of the people, the fact that such high numbers could be recorded makes one wonder that which we aren't getting right.
What you have in Nigeria is such a mighty executive, mighty and pompous executive. Most of the time, rubber stamp parliament and a weak, independent and servile judiciary.
Democracy deals with institutions. How strong are our institutions? You and I are seated there. There are questions I will ask you, you will not be able to answer if like we have seen in the past, a senator comes around here and someone hisses and passes his side and he slaps this, and the senator slaps him. Let me ask, what redress do you think this young man can effectively have against the senator?
Since the causes of human rights violation lies with Nigerians themselves and faulty institutions, what could be the remedy to this plague promoting violence among citizens?
Power does not concede if you don't challenge power. If you keep quiet in face of oppression, power will continue to be responsible. So I don't believe in all these seminars, these things and everything. How many seminars have they done for the police? Yeah, they continue torturing people.
The leadership cannot offer us anything. Then the people have to come together and save themselves. But it's unfortunate that most times when people come together in our situation, a lot of things happen. The matter is hijacked, or there is a derailment of the entire purpose.
Irebami Salako, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
The usage of hard drugs, including alcohol, by adolescents and young adults before engaging in unprotected sexual activities has been identified as a major contributing factor to the high prevalence of HIV in Nigeria. At an HIV media dialogue, experts emphasized the necessity of early testing, high-quality treatment and care for infants, children and adolescents living with or exposed to HIV. Correspondent John Felix completes the story.
Tuberculosis, a lung disease that afflicts millions of people worldwide, is dangerously on the march in Nigeria. A new report by the National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Control Program noted that Nigeria alone accounted for 23% of deaths resulting from TB in Africa. The report states that undetected TB carriers in the country are capable of infecting between 12% and 15% of the country's population annually. This is disturbing primarily as other diseases like Lassa fever, malaria and meningitis are ravaging Africa's most populous country.
Usually, by the WHO report of 2023, Nigeria was ranked 6th in the world and is first in Africa in terms of TB burden. And we have successfully been able to notify over 300,000 TB cases last year, 2023. So efforts have been...
Like, we expected that for the total number of tuberculosis cases that we report in Nigeria, that 12% of them should be childhood TB. But currently, we have like 9 to 10%. Initially, we are like 5%, but with all the effort that has gone into Child Testing Week, you know, focusing, looking for where the children that are most vulnerable for TB are, and going to take the services to them.
According to a report, Nigeria has a huge funding gap as 70% of its TB budget is not funded, adding that the country requires $300 million to bridge the gap. For Nigeria, this is a massive sum in an era of naira depreciation. In an updated list released in June 2021, Nigeria remained among the 30 countries named by the World Health Organization as high-burden countries for TB, along with several countries.
The message also to the media is that they need to encourage people that if anybody in their household is diagnosed with tuberculosis, they themselves need to also come out for check, screening. When they come out for screening, we are also able to put them on preventive treatments.
What then should be the preoccupation of government at all levels and other stakeholders in curtailing the menace of tuberculosis?
It's more that the government and partners, they need to do with media, building their capacity on knowing more about TB in children, how children get infected, how children can be protected when their parents or their caregivers have tuberculosis, how children can be tested, you know.
The management of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund on Wednesday said 12 state government-owned tertiary institutions have joined the student loan application pool. A statement signed by the head media and public relations of the fund, Nasir Ayitogo, noted that the onboarding followed the successful submission and verification of the data completeness. According to the statement, with its latest edition, the total number of participating state government-owned tertiary institutions has now increased from the initial 36 announced earlier to 48. Student data from 121 institutions is outstanding. The fund urged all institutions that are yet to submit the students' data to the Student Verification Portal to do so to enable the students to benefit from the scheme. It also called on states whose data have been captured and successfully uploaded to urgently sensitize their students to apply, thereby bringing succor to students who are struggling financially, whilst also bringing guaranteed revenue to the institutions. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, says that the digital economy sector is projected to generate up to 18.3 billion naira by 2026, emphasizing its crucial role as the backbone of any economy. He spoke at a press briefing on the National Digital Economy and E-Governance Bill organized by the Senate and House Committee on ICT and Cybersecurity. The bill aims to harness the sector's potential, create jobs, and catalyze development in other sectors, and it will establish a regulatory framework for the digital economy, promoting digital literacy, cybersecurity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. The legislation is crucial for Nigeria's sustainable development and has the potential to unlock the country's digital potential, improving lives and transforming the economy.
That market is continuously growing because there's that gap. I mentioned earlier, if you go to countries like Germany, in fact, when the Chancellor who came to Nigeria, one of the meetings at the State House, he specifically mentioned that they want more Nigerians to come to Germany. But it has to be through formal immigration process because their population is aging and they're not giving birth. And these countries are consuming technology, so they need people to actually power their economy.
We also need to enlighten our youth to take care of this opportunity. There are a lot of opportunities. This bill will create opportunity for cybersecurity experts. I mean, the more in this digital economy space, last year we had a new commission, Data Protection Commission. I spoke with the National Commissioner, the executive commissioner. As we speak, they are even looking for data protection officers.
Once we have a good digital identity,
electronic voting will be a walk in the park. But we must get digital identity right as a country. All the telcos, all the healthcare sectors, the digital identity will be the kernel. It will sit in the center. Healthcare will tap into it. Transactions will tap into it.
We're also talking about delivery of government services. How do we manage digital delivery of government services? The ministry has been carrying out a lot of initiatives in the area of capacity building, in the area of digitization, in the area of trying to promote digital literacy. We all know about the 3MTT project that is going on right now.
The usage of hard drugs, including alcohol, by adolescents and young adults before engaging in unprotected sexual activities has been identified as a major contributing factor to the high prevalence of HIV in Nigeria. At an HIV media dialogue, experts emphasized the necessity of early testing, high-quality treatment and care for infants, children and adolescents living with or exposed to HIV. Correspondent John Felix completes the story.
Available data indicates that out of the 39 million individuals worldwide living with HIV, 29.8 million are receiving crucial life-saving treatment. Approximately 2 million people in Nigeria are currently living with HIV. Despite there being more than 2,000 facilities offering HIV treatment in the country, the treatment rate among children under 14 years old remains notably low. To bridge this gap, Dr. Yewande Olaifa, the head of NACA's Gender and Human Rights Division, highlights the impact of alcohol and hard drugs on individuals, leading them to make poor decisions.
But what we know is that, like alcohol, these drugs also affect your ability to make good judgments. So when on a good day, once you are well informed, you know that if you're going to have sex with somebody else who is other than your regular partner or your husband or wife, you would use condom. The probability that you will do that when you are using psychoactive drugs is less because you're not making good judgment. Those drugs affect your frontal lobe, so to speak. They make you do things that you normally would not have done if you had not used the drugs. So that's where chemsex is. And the reason why it's coming to the fore is because they're seeing more and more young people, particularly, use these drugs, and they've not been able to find a way of curtailing it in different spheres, and we should expect to see more and more of it in our own sphere as well. So, and they're beginning to see that this is a risk.
The organizers say the patterns and trends of the HIV epidemic in Nigeria have changed significantly over the years, underscoring the need to effectively disseminate information about the new HIV service trends and changes throughout the country. They also note that HIV treatment rates are lowest among children under 14 years old.
There's a lot of emphasis now on PMTCT, that's prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. So we need to get our pregnant women to get tested, and not just get tested. When you get tested, whether you're positive or negative, there are steps to be taken. So particularly now, if you're tested and you are positive, there are important steps, and that's treatment. Treatments must commence. We need to strengthen, and if we strengthen our prevention of mother-to-child transmission, we'll not just be working and getting this done as far as HIV is concerned, we'll also be working on some other diseases, including hepatitis B. So getting this right is critical. And then as these young people now become young adults, become adolescents, we need to reach out to them, get them tested. There's still a gap also in that. Get them tested, know the people that are living with the virus, and start treatment as appropriate.
There are still gaps in the response that we need to prioritize. So the whole idea of this training is to keep people abreast of the information, what's going on within the AIDS response, and give them up-to-date information so that they are armed with that to also be able to educate the public. Because we also see a growing trend within Nigeria's response. We're seeing a lot of young people, who are growing up with limited knowledge about HIV, who are growing up and involved in practices that put them at risk of HIV. We're also seeing a growing incidence of new infections among young people.
FAR Nigeria provides support for the meeting through the Henry Jack Foundation Medical Research Institute. John Filks reporting for Galaxy Television News.
The federal government has reiterated commitment to creating more opportunities to improve the welfare of civil service. Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieson, made the assertion at the opening session of the 2024 National Pre-Retirement Summit held in Abuja on Wednesday. She also, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary by the Service, Comfort Adeosun, disclosed that Head of Civil Service have already developed a concept of retirement plan in collaboration with Public Service Institute in Nigeria and Bank of Agriculture. She noted that this will enable retiree civil servants to be trained into agricultural value chain. Adeosun added that the plan will help them gain basic theological training for civil servants and to acquire soft loan from Bank of Agriculture.
The federal government, through the Federal Civil Service, is actually committed to creating more opportunities to improve the welfare of civil service. It is therefore with great joy to note that the theme of this summit, Challenges, Strategies, Prospects and Opportunities at Retirement in Nigeria, is coming at a very good time. That policies will be examined, challenges scrutinized, and perceptions are eschewed.
Speaking earlier, the National President of Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, frowned at the way government have been handling the pension of retirees, which have mostly caused untimely death. He called on all public and corporate organizations to partner with stakeholders to shape pre-retirement processes in Nigeria.
The pension scheme, as it currently stands in Nigeria, unfortunately falls short of its fundamental purpose: to provide for workers in their old age. The medium of certain pensions, which is the Naira, has maintained an unstable value and has kept depreciating over the years.
As we embark on this journey, we call on all public and corporate organizations to partner with us in shaping the future of pre-retirement in Nigeria. Let us work together to create a robust and inclusive ecosystem that fosters prosperity for all. Let us harness our collective energies to create a brighter tomorrow for ourselves, our families, and our nation. Nigeria, for me, is the only place I call home. I don't know about you.
A creation of a new Ministry of Livestock Development by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday, 9th of July 2024, despite the lingering crisis between headless farmers, have been described as a welcome development by stakeholders in the subsector, stating that the potential benefits inherent in the industry is worth billions of naira if properly managed. Correspondent Gabriel Odia takes a look at the potential benefits Nigeria stands to gain with the creation of Ministry of Livestock. The report.
Nigeria may not be the country with the highest population of cattle, nor is it the top producer of beef or dairy products in the world, unlike Brazil, Argentina, among others, which ranks highest, yet without farmers' headless crisis. Yet these countries are raking in millions of dollars yearly. According to the stakeholders, Nigeria can surpass these countries if the newly created Ministry of Livestock is properly harnessed to encourage ranching of livestock and boost its value chains.
It is a key sector of the economy that, if well harnessed and properly managed, is in itself an income earner for this country, for export and for employment creation and wealth generation.
Because with this creation of our ministry, now we stand alone. There is so much that government is losing. But I believe with this, the government will have data of the livestock, and in dairy production, that is milk, the ranches, I believe, economically, there is much impact.
With this creation of a Ministry of Animal Production, a concentration will be on the livestock subsector, or livestock subsector was combined with crop agriculture. We never had the desired attention given to the livestock subsector in this country. But with the creation of this ministry, I feel that a lot will be done.
While they say ranching of livestock will stave off crisis between herders and farmers, they observe that it will also increase the value chain in the subsector, creating employment for others to benefit, like the selling of grass to the cattle to make income.
If you go to the bush, you cut this grass, you divide it to segments, and you bring it to cow stand. You are selling each 500 naira, sometimes 200 naira. By the time you cultivate it 3 times a day, you go there to cultivate it 3 times a day, it will earn you a good amount.
According to Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association, Benue State, the state chairman says the Ministry of Livestock Development will not only cater for cattle alone, but also other livestock, which suggests that the services of veterinary doctors will be increased and required.
We have well over 10,000 veterinarians in Nigeria who presently are not engaged by government. Many of them are into the private sector. So according to Nigerian laws, every local government should have at least 2 veterinarians. Currently, we do not have that. In Benue State, we have only 9 veterinary doctors on the employ of Benue State. And we have continued to ask, but we have many veterinarians who have not been employed yet.
A Niger Delta and Ijaw Pressure Group, the Ijaw Youth Council, has expressed serious concern over what the group described as the alleged corruption in the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) under the leadership of Dr. Samuel Ubuku. The group, in a peaceful protest in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, expressed displeasure over the developmental strides of the commission under the managing director. The report.
The Ijaw youths were dressed in white outfits and waving flags belonging to the pressure group demonstrated peacefully around the Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt as the spokesperson passes a vote of no confidence on the Commission's leadership.
That the NDDC under Ogbuku has indeed contributed in monumental corrupt processes allegedly, that if we are called upon, we can bring proof and show proof. Because we are just giving few moments. We are going to galvanize all ethnic nationalities in the region, and we are going to be staging a protest to say, give us show accountability or vacate that seat.
He called on President Bola Tinubu to beam his searchlight on the commission, saying it has deviated from his mandate of developing the region. From Rivers State, Dele Fason reporting for Galaxy News.
And we hereby call on the president to critically put an eye on the activities of the NDDC. We have asked questions and we have come to the conclusion that the core mandate upon which the NDDC was established is not followed. It's not in sight. And it calls for action, it calls for worry.
And now move over to the foreign desk for more news. Hello and welcome to the foreign news. NATO leaders are meeting in Washington for a summit that coincides with the alliance's 75th anniversary. In his open remarks, the U.S. President Joe Biden said Ukraine will soon receive dozens more air defense systems. Addressing a Washington think tank, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for quicker action against Russian President Vladimir Putin before the U.S. election. Zelensky and Biden are due to meet on Thursday. Moscow has said it will closely follow the summit. Although Biden's opening speech did not contain any major gaffes, the NATO summit comes as the president faces growing criticism from Democrats over his bid for re-election after a poor debate performance. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked NATO for its strong declaration over air defense during the summit of the military alliance leaders in Washington. He said the tactical air defense systems will assist in destroying Russian drones and missiles and protect Ukraine, citing Russia's strike on a children's hospital in Kyiv. Rwanda has said it is not required to refund the UK after a multi-million-pound migrant deal between the two countries was scrapped. New UK Prime Minister and Labour Party leader Keir Starmer announced at the weekend that the plan to deport some asylum seekers to Rwanda was dead and buried. The scheme was forged by the previous Conservative government, which since revealing the plan in 2022 has paid Rwanda €240 million. Legal challenges meant the scheme never took off, and the UK expressed hope that some money from the deal will be recouped. The following day, a spokesperson for Rwanda's government told the country's state television, "Let this be clear. Paying back the money was never part of the agreement." Alan Mukalinda said the agreement did not stipulate money should be refunded and that the UK had approached Rwanda and requested a partnership which was discussed extensively. In January, after 21 months of the scheme being stalled, Rwandan President Paul Kagame suggested some money could be returned if no asylum seekers were sent to the country. But Rwanda's government later specified there was no obligation to refund the UK. Prime Minister Starmer labelled the scheme an expensive gimmick after the Labour Party won elections in a landslide last week. His party has pledged instead to set up a new border security command to tackle people smuggling gangs. Beijing's Ministry of Commerce said on Wednesday that it is launching a probe into European policies in an apparent retaliation of recent EU probes of Chinese companies. The investigation, which will run until at least January 2025, comes after a complaint made by the National Chamber of Commerce for importing and exporting machinery and electronics. The inquiry will focus on the EU's practices in its investigations of Chinese companies under the regulation on foreign subsidies, distorting the internal market of the European Union. A statement from Beijing said its probe would look into the impact of EU measures on specific sectors including products such as railway, locomotives, photovoltaics, wind power and security inspection equipment. Trade tensions between China and the 27-nation bloc have recently escalated. Last month, Beijing warned that frictions with the EU over electric vehicle import could trigger a trade war. Last year, the European Commission concluded the Chinese state subsidies for its EV industry were unfairly undermining European rivals. As a result, the EU placed provisional duties of up to 38% on Chinese EV import, despite an outcry from manufacturers and Chinese business groups. At least 12 school children and the driver of their minibus were killed in a road crash in South Africa's Gauteng province as they were going to school. 7 other children were brought to a hospital for treatment. The children came from 2 schools in Carletonville, situated around 78 kilometers west of Johannesburg. Gauteng Minister of Education Matomi Chane said in a statement. The Gauteng Education Department said the vehicle carrying the children were allegedly struck from behind by a light pickup truck, causing the vehicle to overturn, where it then caught fire. The ages of the children involved are not yet known, although the schools they attended typically enroll children between the ages of 6 to 13. South Africa has well-developed road infrastructure, but it also ranks among the world's worst for road safety. South Africa's Automobile Association has previously referred to the country's annual road fatality statistics as a national crisis. The European Space Agency sent its Ariane 6 rocket into space for the first time some 4 years after its initial planned launch. The powerful rockets lifted off from Europe's spaceport in Kourou, French Guiana at 4 p.m. local time. The successful launch paved the way for Europe to get satellites into space without having to rely on other organizations or companies such as SpaceX. ESA Chief Joseph Asbake said the successful launch marked a historic day for Europe. Ariane 6 replaces its predecessor, Ariane 5, which first took off in the mid-90s. The last Ariane 5 flight was last year. Since then, the ESA had to rely on rivals in order to get its satellite into space. The launch was delayed by an hour after having to wait 4 years due to a fault being discovered in the morning. Its success was far from guaranteed, with around half of all inaugural flights ending in failure, including that of the Ariane 5 in 1996. The next stage for the ESA would be to study the launch before rolling out a commercial program. And lastly, on foreign news, Russian authorities issued an arrest warrant in absentia for Yulia Navalnaya, the widow of late opposition leader Alexei Navalny. A court in Moscow accused her of being part of an extremist group. She currently lives outside Russia but would face immediate arrest if she were to return. The court said it had approved the request of the investigators and decided a preventive measure in the form of detention for 2 months. Navalnaya, 47 years, slammed the court's decision, saying it is a statement Vladimir Putin is a killer and a war criminal. He belongs in prison. Leonid Volkov, Navalny's former chief of staff, wrote on X, formerly Twitter, that the arrest warrant from the infamous Basmany court showed quite a recognition of Yulia's determination to continue Alexei's fight. Navalny's organizations, which mainly target corruption, have been outlawed in Russia. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said the arrest warrant against Navalny was against the desire for freedom and democracy. And that's all we have on the foreign news. And up next is entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe. Here's the full story. The battle between Nollywood and movie producer Toyin Abraham and her bullies have taken a new turn as the movie star faces heavy backlash from Nigerians. Wikipedia has tagged the movie star as a bully in her bio on their page. She's now been addressed as a Nigerian actress, bully and filmmaker. To worsen things, Nigerians are massively reporting her to the streaming platform Netflix for her movies to be taken down. A social media user has shared a screenshot of his letter to the streaming platforms as he urged everyone to follow in their footsteps. In the letter, he had urged the streaming platform to boycott her movies, as he expressed how such mistreatment is disheartening, especially considering the diverse and inclusive content that Netflix is known for. The netizen urged Netflix to take a firm stand against such behavior and demonstrate a commitment to fostering a welcoming and inclusive environment for all its audiences. Twitter influencer Danny Young has threatened that should Ayo not be released, they would mass report Toyin's Instagram page and then move to send emails to Netflix. Toyin is currently trending on X after she was accused of arresting a Twip's mother. Reacting to the allegation, Toyin stated that people could abuse her and call her names and it would be okay to her, but where she draws the line is when people curse her kids and lie. She clarified that she never arrested his mother and only made a report of cybercrime as a citizen. Toyin stressed that she never arrested anybody's mother as she only exercised her democratic right. Weeks back, it also reported that Toyin had arrested an ex-user who wished death on her son for cyberbullying and defamation. Recall that Toyin lost the admiration of millions for publicly supporting President Tinubu during the elections. Popular Nigerian comedian and activist Mr. Macaroni has spoken out against the use of connections to illegally detained citizens and stressed that people should seek justice in court instead. The activist took to X in the late hours of July 9, 2024 and emphasized the importance of going through the justice system instead of taking laws into one's hands. Mr. Macaroni also warned about the consequences of supporting such misuse of power while clarifying that it does not support online bullying. His post comes after reports on social media claimed the actress Toyin Abraham allegedly used the police to arrest a man and his mother for defaming her on X. The actress promptly faced backlash from X users for allegedly using her friends in power to detain the man, and she responded to some users, but eventually deleted a comment. Mr. Marconi post rakes up scores of reactions from his fans and fellow X users speaking on the trending issues. Big Brother Naija double wahala housemate Nina Ivy is set to undergo breast reduction surgery. Taking to a page, the reality star who resides overseas with her husband revealed that she has been waiting for this day her entire life, and finally the time is here. She stated that after 2 kids, she never really felt comfortable and confident about her breast and is super excited to make a change. The mother of 2 expressed joy that she could finally have a new life. Last year, Nina revealed that she was undergoing a Brazilian butt lift, popularly known as BBL. Giving them an update, Nina revealed that she had undergone the surgery as she bragged, stating that her new body was budding and expressing excitement at finally showing her fans her new look. Finally, famous American rapper Kanye West speaks in retirement from professional music. He opened up to this in a recent chat with his colleague Rich the Kid. Rich the Kid took to his story to share a screenshot of his chat with Kanye West. According to the Year Chrono, he's jeering towards calling it quits on professional music. He added that he doesn't know what to do next after quitting music. Rich the Kid attempted to dissuade Kanye West from retiring by emphasizing the significance in part of their collaborative work on culture and the need for West's continued presence in the music industry. He urged West to reconsider, suggesting they create more music together and even dabble in fashion, but not retire entirely. And that'll be all on entertainment news. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Rose Blossom. Bye for now.
And that's all we have on Galaxy Primetime News. Thank you so much for being a part of the news. My name is Nenwa Ngimazaka. Goodbye.